Protecting Africa show. With Chris in the show, and we're going to ask him a few questions about the topic we're covering. Before we go to the main topic, you said your name is Chris, right?
Chris, yeah.
And Chris is a European name, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So you're an African person, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think you're an African person yet you have a European name? Why is it like
actually, the full name is Chinedu Chris Okonkwo.
Okay.
But Chris is just to make things easier, you know.
Okay.
Because sometimes you come to a foreign land like this and people find it difficult to pronounce your original African name.
Okay.
So Chris is just to make communication much easier.
So that means you're compromising on your identity to please other people. Do the European change their name to accommodate other people? Do they do that?
Well, actually, you can. It depends on the perspective you see it from.
Yeah.
But to a very great extent, you understand that you get to see that some people find it very difficult to pronounce your name.
When you say some people,
most people here.
Have you heard about Afrikaners?
Yeah.
They have difficult names to pronounce, right? They got Van Broek, Van Vreek, whatever.
Yeah.
And yet they don't change it to accommodate anybody. So how you feel, and I'm sure you know about Africa history, right? Mm-hmm. Where the Europeans were systematically imposing us their names and languages and values in a bid to erase our own, right? Yeah. And if you have a name Chris, obviously it's linked to the legacy, to the history of Africa, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how you feel about the fact that we still have their names and giving our kids their names, right? Those who have kids, while they don't do that. Because the story is not about making it easy. Because when they came newly here, it was difficult for us also to use those names. You got the point?
Yeah.
So how you feel about it? Because we can't talk about equality when we have other people's name and we don't have our names. How you feel about that?
Yeah, you have a very great point in what you're saying.
We're gonna move to the main topic, which is Christmas, right? Yeah. Christmas is around the corner once again. And I would like to know if you do celebrate that European celebration.
Well, it's not a European celebration.
Okay.
I'm celebrating Christ. And Christ is for everybody, not just for the Europeans, but He's for the Africans and for the Europeans.
You say it's not a European celebration.
It is not a European
but were you aware that Christmas is a symbol of Europe domination over us? Since it is a celebration, the European criminals that were enslaving, right? Looting and mass murdering the African people imposed in Africa during the time of the dark past of Africa, because we start celebrating Christmas since back then, before even your grandfather was born.
Well, I totally disagree with that.
Because before they came, it's not about disagreeing, it's about getting fact. Before European came, were we celebrating Christmas, yes or no?
Well, I think you're getting the fact mixed up.
Okay.
Truth be told, because now you're looking at Christmas as something that's just for the Europeans, but let's not forget that Christ came and He died for all.
Where do you get your fact from?
Well, it's in the Bible.
Okay, the Bible. Who brought the Bible to Africa?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm saying which people brought the Bible to Africa. Let's be factual. Let's not be emotional or just fabricating in the head, right? Let's go by facts, right? Did the European brought the Bible to Africa, yes or no?
Yes, they did.
Okay? Yes, they did.
Yes, the Europeans did.
And these are the Europeans that abducted millions of Africans and took them into slavery, right?
That was all in the past.
I'm saying these are the European. I mean, the Bible doesn't start when you are born. It starts in the past in Africa, right?
Yes.
So it means the Bible today is linked to the past, its past, which is its arrival in Africa.
The Bible is the past, is the present, is the future.
I'm saying the presence of the Bible in Africa is linked to the past, because the impression you're having is like it starts when you are born. No.
I never said the Bible started.
Yeah, because you're trying to say it's the past, because you were not born this big.
No, I said the European domination, the slavery by the European is a thing of the past.
Okay, but I'm trying to make a point here. Okay. You were not born this big, isn't it?
Okay.
Right? You were born little. It means your current present is linked to your past, right? So now, if these people brought that Bible, right? And these people were so horrible, unless you don't know the history, right? Like abducting people against their will, raping African women, stealing the land, looting the livestock, you know, the African cows, whatever. Basically, destroying Africa, because they even went to the extent of imposing us their names, their languages, and they had a systematic, basically, they turned us into slaves, right? Slaves are not supposed to have rights, because if you You give them right, and then they're gonna ask for more, right?
Yeah.
So the people that could be so horrible, can you trust? Can you think they had a good intention in bringing the Bible to Africa?
Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
If you read the Bible very well, you get to figure out a verse that says salvation is for all.
Okay.
You know, it's funny how the Europeans came into Africa and they turned some Africans into slaves. It might be true that some of them had negative intentions, but the truth is, out of the negative intention, God brought salvation to Africa.
Are you hearing what you're saying?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
You say some of them, man. Slavery lasted 500 years or more, because even during apartheid, it was a sort of slavery, right? Going on.
Okay.
Now, you telling me a bunch of ruthless people. You saying they're not ruthless? They were not ruthless?
You know what?
My brother, don't be emotional. We're talking about facts here.
Sorry.
You take
Have you asked the question?
You take so many people out of a land against the will. You know, we had chain on the necks, right? What was the intention? What was the reason to have chain? So that the people don't run away, isn't it?
Do you want to? Can I explain myself now?
Yeah.
The reason why I said some of them had negative intentions is because some missionaries came to my place, and the missionaries that first came to my town of origin in Nigeria did not enslave anybody, but rather they brought Christianity. Okay. They brought salvation to the people. They never had any records of enslaving anybody. That's the reason why I said some of them had negative intentions. Maybe minority of them, but they still had good intentions.
Okay, now I believe your statement is wrong. If we contrast what you say and facts or in logic, you will see that what you're saying doesn't make sense, because Nigeria was occupied by England. You know what is an occupation? It means they deploy troops. You understand? And troops have guns. That means they took control of an area. And the British are well known to have been brutal everywhere they've been, right? We've seen how they took over the USA. It's not even the land. Where they took Australia. Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia were among the last African countries to get freedom, and a lot of Africans died before getting their freedom, right? So, if the Nigeria was under British occupation, right? It means any British or any person that wanted to preach anything had to have authorization from the British. It means the British had to approve you doing that, isn't it?